Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say, in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, all right? And we're going to talk about today is that they're putting it right under your nose, okay? They're putting it right under your nose, all right? And we may get around to looking up that meaning, all right? Aparatasa, Father Will. So this is Fox 29, WFLX, and it reads, DeSantis signs agreement with ICE to have Florida state troopers detain illegal immigrants, all right? Now, you may look at this article and think nothing of it, but you have to connect the dots in order to see actually what's going on and what's being put into place, all right? And we're going to connect the dots to a certain degree. That's why I said right under your nose, okay? So it goes on to read, Tallahassee, Florida, WCTV, great news, Florida Highway Patrol troopers will soon be trained to detain illegal immigrants in the United States. All right? This is how they putting it right up under your nose because they're using code words, but they're putting it right in plain sight. So let's read this again. Florida Highway Patrol troopers will soon be trained to detain illegal immigrants in the United States. All right? That paragraph alone sums up the whole lesson. All right? It says Florida Highway Patrol troopers, which are going to be synonymous or swapped out with individuals who are trained to do the task at hand, which is what? Rounding up a particular group of people, all right? Now, in this article, they're calling those particular group of people illegal immigrants, all right? But in another article we're going to read, they're going to call them what? Homeless people. And then in the final conclusion, we're going to know to be those of Israelites, okay? All right? So let's go on to read. It says, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced a formal agreement between the state and the Department of Homeland Security during a news conference Friday morning. Right, this was published February the 10th. Today is now February the 13th. Okay, so 3 days ago. It says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced a formal agreement between the state and the Department of Homeland Security during a news conference Friday morning. The agreement will allow Florida Highway Patrol FHP troopers to be trained and approved by ICE, which is an acronym for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, to what? To arrest and detain illegal immigrants, aka homeless people, aka you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? It's all written in code so that they can what? Put it on the books. This is how they speak, by putting these laws into effect, all right? In certain states and cities and towns, they already have laws on the books that what? Homeless people can no longer sleep on the public sidewalks and public parks and so on and so forth, all right? Now, those homeless peoples, just to give you a heads up, spoiler alert, they're going to translate those homeless people into ones that don't what? Cooperate with the system, okay? Why? Because they're getting ready to roll out their first testing phase May the 7th, 2025, in this real ID compliant, okay? Where if you don't have this real ID compliant, guess what? You won't be able to go into federal businesses. You won't be able to board domestic flights here in America, and so on and so forth, okay? Now imagine, once they up the antidote to a more secure measurement, because right now they're just using the introduction of Real ID as a measurement of a better form of, verification for your ID and driving license. But once they up it up to the next level, which is digital, guess what? People are going to start to wake up, all right? And they're going to start to what? Resist. But then once they get it to the ultimate level, which is putting it within your body, which is that chip, people are going to resist. And guess what? They're going to be individuals, and dare I say groups, that don't want to comply to the former or the present rules and regulations, and they're going to go off grid. But now, if they get caught by one of these quote unquote state troopers, but they're going to be more than likely martial law or some other form of mercenaries or whatever else, or as they say, bounty hunters, that's going to be rounding up people and questioning them. And if you can't produce a legitimate form of identification, aka the micro CHIP, you're going to be looked at as what? Homeless. Because homeless people, for the most part, they don't have ID. They don't have anywhere to stay, because why? They don't have anywhere to sleep. They don't have a job to buy a house. They don't have a job to afford identification. You see? And this is all what's going to be what? Associated with those of us that are quote unquote rebelling against the system, that don't want to take the chip. We're not going to have any form to prove who we are. If we get stopped traveling or moving from town to town, we ain't going to have any place to sleep. Okay? So guess what? They already got on records laws for homeless people in certain cities, towns, and states. Okay? So when a trooper or a quote unquote slave catcher comes and questions you, and you don't have the proper verification or paperwork or digital works to show who you are, guess what? They're going to take you in. Okay? Simple as that. They're going to take you in. So that's why I said right under your nose, they are putting the provisions into place right now for that time, because they already see it coming. All right? So it says, the agreement will allow Florida Highway Patrol troopers to be trained and approved by Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE, to arrest and detain illegal immigrants, aka homeless people, BKA, better known as you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you Israelites, okay? Then deliver them to federal authorities. This is coming straight out of the scriptures. What does this remind you of? St. Luke 21:15, right around there, and also Matthew 5:25, right around there. Abaratasa, Father will, we can recall those precepts and go into them. It says, the arrangement will help fulfill the president's mission to evacuate the largest deport program in American history, DeSantis said. Right. And that's why it goes in the second Ezra that they should not regard their kings nor princes. Okay. So it's all right here, Bible prophecy, and it's being played out in real time for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. All right. And this is a beautiful time to be alive between, prophecies being fulfilled and seeing this man go down, our enemy, Esau Edom, so-called white man. All right. Now, I said I was going to get that meaning of under your nose. So let me see if I could bring that up. This is the idiom, right under your nose, means some things is in a place that's easy to see or that someone should have noticed but didn't. You right? You see? So those that are in the world, they don't see this. Okay, they just take it as face value. Oh, they're just trying to round up the illegal immigrants. They're just trying to get the homeless people off public, public sidewalks and public parks and public areas. No, there's more to that. They're just using that so that they can put laws on the books, okay, for a more nefarious reason later on down the line. All right. And we understand what that nefarious reason is, because what? We have been seeking Yahweh. He's opened us up to prophecy. All right. So it says the idiom right under your nose means some things is in a place that is easy to see. And you have to have the eyesight to see it, because for others, it's not. Okay. Those that are blinded, they can't get it. Okay. The Most High isn't dealing with them. It says, or that someone should have noticed but didn't. Right. Because they're still asleep. All right. They haven't woken up, or they woken up and they went right back to sleep. Because why? The Most High isn't dealing with them. For example, you might say your keys are right under your nose on the table. Right. You hear tearing up your house looking for your keys, and they're right up under your nose on the table, man. All right. You see? Or you got your pen in your ear, and although it's not under your nose, it's right there in your ear, and you placed it there, but you don't forgot. And it's easy for everyone else to see but you. All right. So right under your nose, they putting these laws into effect. Okay. Here it is. They just upped the ante, by allowing Florida State troopers to now be trained to be what? Official detainees and arrestees of illegal, aka homeless, aka you Israelites. All right. Now let's go to the laws on homelessness. Okay. Well, this is the definition of homeless. Let's read homelessness. It reads, homelessness is the lack of a stable, homelessness is the lack of a safe, stable, and adequate place to live. Right. And unless you get that chip, you won't have any of this. Okay. That's what they're creating these 15-minute smart cities for. They're going to be able to be safe for you. They're going to be able to be stable for you, and they're going to be able to be adequate for you to live in. But you have to take that chip. All right. And outside of these 15-minute cities, you ain't going to have too many options to go to. All right. Which is why they're cutting off everything that you have right now that will be free to use, because it's public access, such as sleeping in a public park, or such as using a public bathroom, or anything else. Okay. If a quote unquote state trooper rolls up on you and asks you to produce your identification and you can't, well, guess what? You're going to be looked at as an illegal immigrant. Because why? They can't confirm who you are. They don't know if you've been brought over here from another country or you were actually born here. You have no proof of identification, because why? You didn't want to comply with getting the mark of the beast. Okay. So everything is being put into place right now for that time that's getting ready to present itself. Jacob's trouble. Okay. And if you don't have the chip, guess what? They're going to toss your ass in prison, man. Okay. And you're going to be brought before the judge, the magistrate, and you're going to be given a sentence. Maybe it's going to be you serve out your time, the remaining of your life in prison, or maybe you be beheaded. Or if you so see the fit to comply, they'll give you that chip and you can be back into society. All right. So right under your nose, it says cases. This is the reason for people being homeless: a lack of resource to afford housing, food, and other necessities. Right. And we know Revelation 13:16 says what? And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, that what? that whosoever, no, Revelation 13 and 16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark, or what does it say? The mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So guess what? If you don't have that mark, you're going to be homeless, man. All right? You're going to be homeless. And there's already provisions and ways to address and handle the homeless population. Because why? They can't sleep out there in these 15-minute cities. Okay? These 15-minute cities are going to have a standard that they're going to be upheld by. All right? You're not going to be vandalizing buildings and coming in these establishments and, you know, running out with free food and free merchandise like you do right now. No. In these 15-minute cities, they're going to be heavily monitored. All right? Surveillance. All right? You're going to be chipped up. All right? You're not going to be out here roaming the land like you do now, sleeping up on the highways, having tents ducked off in the woods somewhere. They're cleaning up all of this, man. All right? Which is why when they come across you, if you can't produce that ID, you're going to be hauled off into prison. All right? So they're trying to already put the homelessness already in play on the law. All right? See if we can go into some of the homelessness. Check this out. This is in Florida. You know, this is where we at right now. It says Florida law prohibits camping on public property without authorization to maintain public safety and order. The law also aims to ensure that public spaces are accessible to all residents. How the law works: local government can allow people to sleep on public property such as streets, public buildings, or public rights of way. Local governments can designate areas for homeless people to sleep. These areas must be approved by the Florida Department of Children and Families. They must include security, behavioral health services, and bathrooms with running water. So guess what? You got to get clearance by public authority, local government. You can't be out here just freestyling, man. Okay? Because if you're doing it, they can have the law come in and what? Hey, question you. And if you can't comply to what they're telling you, they take you in, man. All right? So the laws are already on the books, okay? You think they just passing these laws and being stringent for no reason? No. They putting into place what they know is getting ready to come, man. All right? Right under your nose, okay? So they got the laws on homelessness. They got the laws on detaining and arresting illegal immigrants. And they got the laws on flying domestic and having what else? Access to federal buildings beginning this year, May 7th. Let's look that up. This is the deadline for Real ID enforcement is May 7th, 2025. After this date, you will need a Real ID compliant driving license or identification card to board domestic flights and access federal facilities. Now ask yourself this question. Why do you need a Real ID driving license to board a what? Airplane. You're not driving. Shouldn't you just be able to have an identification? An ID card? No, they want you to comply all the way. Because let's say you get pulled over by the police. Okay. Guess what? You're going to have that real ID compliant. All right. ID. Okay. So it's not just to board domestic flights and federal businesses. It's going to be everywhere. Okay. This is their introduction to the system. All right. And it's stated to take place this year, 2025, May 7th. Okay. Which is just several months away. It's February the 13th. That's about 3 months, a little bit less than 3 months. Okay. So it says the deadline for real ID enforcement is May 7th, 2025. After this date, you will need a real ID compliant driving license or identification card to board domestic flights and access federal facilities. What does this mean for me? You can use an interactive tool to check if your driving license or ID is real ID compliant, right? Because you have to have that little gold star on your driving license to show whether or not it's real ID, all right? They claim it's supposed to be some type of verification, because they want to make sure it's you. So they're going to up the antidotes, I guess, when you go in, because you can't get this real ID online. You have to come in person. I'm not sure if they take your fingerprint, they scan your face, and they put all that on your card. Okay. All right. But this is the way that this society is heading. All right. Surveillance. All right. And as they say, driving is a privilege, not a right. So you don't have to get the real ID, but you sure as hell better not be driving a car. Okay. May 7th, 2025 without a real ID. Now, I read in another article that they're going to give the people a year to comply to this. So by May 2026, everybody should have their real ID compliant. It says if you don't have a real ID, you can visit your local DMV to learn more. You see, you can't get it online. You got to go in person. All right. You got to go in person. If you already have a new or renewed Florida driving license or ID since January 2010, you're probably already real ID compliant, right? Until the next version of security ID come out, okay? So they're walking the people into it gradually, all right? Right under their noses without them even noticing, okay? So we are here, man. We are here. We are in the beginning stages of the beast system being rolled out for the mass to consume. All right. They're going to consume because why? They don't want to be homeless. Okay. They don't want to be out there not having the proper ID, not having nowhere to sleep, an adequate place to live. Why? Because they don't trust in Yahweh. Okay. By Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So guess what? They're going to be given over to the hand of a cruel Lord, okay? And he's definitely bringing back slave catchers, all right? Let's look up that term, slave catchers. This is slave catchers. This is the AI overview. It says slave catchers were people who tracked down and returned escaped slaves to their enslavers. They were also known as patrollers. What did we go into? State troopers. They're going to be patrolling the highways because you may have, quote unquote slaves, because under the 14th Amendment, we all supposed to be free. But hey, without proper ID, guess what? You're going to be considered an illegal immigrant or a homeless person or a slave because why? You've flew the coop per se. You don't have your proper paperwork to show who you are. So they're going to be having these slave catchers, aka these now Florida highway troopers, now being trained under ICE Homeland Security to what? To detain illegal immigrants and to arrest them. Okay? So they're setting up the perimeters and the provisions for this. So it says slave catchers were people who tracked down and returned escaped slaves to their enslavers, right? So when they round you up and you can't produce your paperwork, guess what? They're going to throw you into prison, all right? And we're going to get that scripture as well. Al-Baratasa, Father will. It says how they operated. Slave catchers use violence to control escapees. Right. These new slave catchers, hey, these foreigners, they're gonna deputize and swear them in under martial law. They ain't gonna care how they interact with you. They're gonna be given the green light to, hey, use whatever force you want. You got to remember, under Executive DOD 5240 .1, they can engage the citizens with lethal force. Okay? So it says slave catchers use violence to control escapees. They enforce curfews and check travelers for permission passes. Well, guess what? If you don't have your real ID, wink, wink, the mark of the beast, the microchip, you're going to be what? Taken in for questioning and ultimately what? Led to prison where you will be spending the remainder of your life behind bars or being beheaded. Okay? If you don't take the chip. It says they enforce curfews and check travelers for permission passes. Right, what does that sound like? A man should desire to go into a town but can't, okay? You're going to have your paperwork, okay? You're going to have that chip, all right? If not, you get caught by one of these quote-unquote slave catchers, a.k.a. Trained Florida Highway State Troopers, a.k.a. martial law troops. Guess what? You're going to be taken in. It says they prevented organized resistance. You see, they search all night using dogs because of their keen sense of smell. Well, guess what? They're going to use dogs again this time, but they're going to use robotic dogs. And they're going to have eyes in the sky with these drones, okay? And they're going to be able to use infrared sensors, okay? Since this back in the 1800s or whenever this took place, they've upped the ante, okay? They've upped the antidote. They can now look through your house with drones. They can look in heavily dense woods with drones with night vision, infrared sensors, body heat detection, okay? So their technology has since surpassed the days of just using dogs that had keen smells to hunt down and track slaves, okay? And we know here in the Americas, particularly the United States of America, they would use those dogs to go after, so-called Negroes, man. All right? So it's coming back, okay? But it's coming back more vicious, okay? It's coming back because Jacob's Trouble is going to be a time like never seen before, all right? For all you suckers out there that keep saying we already had Jacob's Trouble, you're going to see when it pops off this time, it ain't going to be like no time before, all right? You're going to be going up against a whole new different type of breed of Edomites, man. All right? Fully equipped this time. All right? And if you ain't got Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah on your side, guess what? You ain't going to get through it, man. All right? So it says the history, the first slave catchers in the Americas were active in European colonies in the West Indies during the 16th century. In the United States, slave catchers was active until the ratification of the 13th Amendment. In Brazil, slave catchers were active until the abolition of slavery in 1888. All right, so you see it, man. All right, they coming back with it. All right, they couldn't just come out forthright with it and say it, so they had to be, subtle about it. Okay, we're gonna use words and terms like illegal immigrants, homeless people. All right. All of these have now replaced the word slave in the Constitution, and now under these new terms, they could come at you more violent, okay? And this is where we're going at it. This is where we're going at with it, all right? They are getting ready, man. All right, so let's go get a few precepts. All right, we're in the book of Luke, chapter 9, and the point is at 58, but we'll read up a couple of verses and start at verse 55. It says, "But he turned and rebuked them and said, Ye know not what manner of spirit ye are of. 56, for the Son of Man is not come to destroy man's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village, and it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. Here's the point right here, 58. And Yahushua said unto them, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. Right. So guess what? When these times roll, man, if we following Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai and not complying to the system, we may not have nowhere to lay our head at. Okay. We may be looked at as homelessness. Okay. So guess what? We have to resort back to our training in this time right now to be comforted in these scriptures, because we've been prepped on what to do and how to do and what to look for. All right. Because we know we can't take that chip if it means us getting, thrown out our houses, our apartments, losing our jobs, and becoming homeless. Okay. Because that's how they're going to look at us anyways, man. And you're going to have those, uppity, snobby ass, so-called rich people. If they see us in their neighborhoods or in their, places of commerce, they're going to look at us like, who are these people? Let's call the slave catchers on them, okay? Because they may be bounties out on us, man. So Yahushua said, St. Luke 9:58, and Yahushua said unto him, foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. Right. So unless you are taking that chip, it's more than likely that you ain't going to have somewhere constant to lay your head down every night like you do now, on a comfortable bed with comforters, with pillows, with a glass of warm milk on the side of your night ends table. You ain't going to have all that, man. It may be nice when you got to sleep out in the in the wilderness, okay? It may be nights where you got to just continue to walk into the next town. All right, because how you gonna get by? How you gonna drive without a driving license? All right, how you gonna take a taxi or Uber without having nothing to pay for or buy for, or not having that mark to use to pay or buy? All right, we're gonna have to trust in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, however He see fits to lead us and guide us, that's how we're gonna go. All right. We're not going to go get the chip just so we can get a taxi cab to ride to see our grandma or our cousin or our best friend. You see? No. Okay. Because if they got the chip, it's more than likely they already been compromised. All right. So you taking the chip so you can be, hand in hand with them. You're compromising your deliverance, your salvation. All right. So Yahushua told us that what? Foxes have holes. Where do foxes sleep? They sleep in dens, which is what? A cave that's dug underneath the ground. It says, and birds of the air have nests. Right. Look at eagles. They nest, they roost in high places, in trees and things of that magnitude. Or sometimes you may see them on a light pole or something like that. It says, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. You see? And this is an expectation of those that's following Yahushua. All right? We might not always have somewhere to lay our head at night. All right? But as long as the Most High is dealing with us and is supping with us through His only begotten Son Yahushua and the Holy Spirit, hey, we gonna be all right. All right? So keep that in mind, man. All right? Keep that in mind. All right? Now, this is the book of 2nd Esdras. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 15. It says, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there should be sedition among men, right? Which is rebellion, which is uprising against the government and all this authority and things of that magnitude. It says, in invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. See? So you're going to have some, dare I say, Edomites, along with Israelites that think they done prep and prepare for this moment that they can resist the government's authority or instructions on taking this, that they can go off and, make it and rely on whatever it is that they prepped in this time that they thought they had to get themselves together by getting canned foods, sleeping bags, tents, so on and so forth. But they're going to come to find out on the eminent domain that the government going to seize all of that, all right? And which is why they're going to be in sedition, okay? The right to bear arms, all right? They're going to say over my unalive body, and that might just be, the outcome, okay? When they send them troops in, man. It says, for there should be sedition among men and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? If you can't produce the proper paperwork or you don't have the digital micro CHIP, you ain't coming in, all right? And they getting you familiarized with that now, okay? They move into that phase of the stage now. They move into that phase of the get familiarized with giving us your rights and being compliant. Because why? For the most part, people want to fly. People want to drive. They don't want to walk. They don't want to ride a bicycle. They want to get somewhere quick, fast, and in a hurry. And they've been telling you that what? Driving is a privilege. It ain't a right. Same with flying, okay? If you don't comply, you don't fly, okay? If you don't comply, you don't fly. Try walking from Florida to California. Try riding a bicycle from Florida to California. Because you can almost bet if you try to take a bus, a train, anything, they're going to ask for that real ID, okay? That real ID compliant. And you're going to take it, man, because then you ain't walking those 700 to 2,500 miles, all right? Not when you can just hop on a plane and get there in a half a day. You know how long it would take you to walk 2,500 miles? That's a journey, okay? Probably over a damn month, all right? Or two, okay? So the fact that they done gave the people so much freedom and convenience, they're going to comply, man, all right? That's what this stage was all about. That's what this phase was all about. Getting you comfortable so that when they start to take away your quote-unquote rights, you will comply, all right? You don't want to go back to the days where you got to read a book to find your information, where you can just flip and type in something in the Google search bar and it comes up instantaneously, all right? They've been prepping us for this very exact moment, all right? With what? Convenience, all right? And there's no place other than or outside of America that is being pampered to the degree that we don't even want to, I can't even imagine. We don't even want to grow our own food anymore. All right, because at one point in time we grew our own food, but now, thanks to the, the advent of grocery stores, we can go, get us a carton of eggs. Although now they're getting out of hand, we can go get us a half a gallon of milk. All right. One point in time, man, we had to farm. We had to, have some type of what do you call that? Some type of, I think it's homeland. We had to have some type of homeland. We had to have chickens or something, so we can have some type of sustainability. But now we don't have to have that, man. All right. And they've been working on that for the longest, man. And they've gotten us right where they want us at, to the point where now, hey, we got to rely on them solely, man. Okay. But not so for those of us that believe in Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. You see, getting back to the point. Okay? Because a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right? And not having your paperworks and proving who you are, and them thus for deeming you an illegal immigrant or someone that's homeless, they're going to what? They're going to bring you forth and you're going to get your sentence, and the eyes of a judge is going to tell you. All right? That's Luke 21 and 15. But let's jump up a little bit. Luke 21 and 12 says, but before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. Right. So those of us that's been chosen, because many are called, but few are chosen. All of Israel is called, but only the elect are chosen. And we are the ones, Abaratasa, that won't back down and cower. Okay, cowered out. The other Israelites, they're gonna fold, man. All right, they ain't gonna go all the way through. They're gonna be brought before, and they ain't gonna give a testimony because they don't even know the names, man. You see, we're gonna stand proud and boldly for our belief in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So when they round us up, it's gonna be a different outcome from those that trying to resist them but have no clue on what's actually going on. Okay. It says, but before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. See, we ain't going to be up there talking about Jesus rebuke you. No, man. That shit is weak, man. We're going to allow the Holy Spirit to flow through us into what? Be as a testimony for Yahweh Shai. Okay? It says, verse 16. No, where we at? Verse 14, Salakia. St. Luke 21 and 14. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. See? We're going to just, the Spirit going to flow through us, man. This is why we stand in the Spirit right now. Okay? So when this time comes, because, this is the lot for some of us, man. Okay? This is going to be some of our lots, man. Some of us is going to be martyrs for this truth's sake, for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. But it's an honorable thing. So it says, settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Right? So, let them call us homeless. Let them call us illegal immigrants, okay? We already understand. And guess what? They're going to know who we are. But that's not going to matter to them because they're going to have us under whatever penal or code that they're going to use because we didn't take the chip that they can what? Therefore condemn us under the laws that they have to whatever punishment they see fit. Whether it's Revelation 2 and verse 10, which reads, fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. And that devil, speaking of the so-called white man, Esau Edom, under his rulership, he's going to put decrees out that, throw their ass in prison, man. They don't want to take the chip and comply. Throw them in prison, okay? But guess what? We already preparing for this. Why? Because we have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to understand that this is going to take place. So Yahweh Shai is telling us, fear none of those things which shall, Slakia, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. See? So they're going to try to break us, man. All right, let them stay down there in the hole for 6 months. Okay? However long they want to keep us in there to try to break our will. All right? It says that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which just goes into, a period of time. Okay? Because initially they wanted to pass a bill that they could throw you in prison for your whole life in Mississippi. And I believe they have shot that bill down. All right. It says, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Right. So whatever it is they try, man, we got to be faithful unto death, man. All right. And in other circumstances or situations, guess what? They might just say off with their head, man. Okay. That's Revelation 20 in verse 4. Let's read it. It reads, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. Remember, we were called in front of magistrates and magistrates for witness of Yahushua. Well, they may say, well, hey, they don't want to comply. Just go ahead and behead them. Don't even throw them in prison. All right. So here's another outcome that could possibly happen to some of us. It says, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. Because once you do, you've pretty much, or you have encapsulated the whole beast. You worship the beast, you receive the mark, and you what? You worship the image, okay? Because the image, the beast, and the mark, they all going together. You take the mark, guess what? You just did everything else. It says, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years, right? That's us going into the kingdom, not having to come back and be born through, the elect loins. Because why? We are of the elect. Because why? We were beheaded for the testimony of Yahushua, and we're going to be the first ones to be raised up when he comes back. Okay? So we're going to win no matter which way it goes, man. All right? They're just going to use a lot of fear tactics. All right? And that's all they have. Okay? So, hey, be secure in your faith, your belief. All right? Because they're coming. Make no mistake about it. They're putting these things on the books, all right? This is Psalms 64 and 2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Right, so they're putting these things right under your nose, okay? But they're doing it surreptitiously so that you don't be able to pick up on it. Because why? You out partying, having a good time, and it doesn't affect you. As far as you know, you ain't no illegal immigrant. You ain't no homeless person. You got somewhere to stay. You got your proper paperwork, you see, but you don't see what's going on, okay? You don't see the full scale, man. Why? Because the Most High ain't dealing with you, man. All right? And you're going to get caught off guard. Okay? So it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongues like a sword. Right? Going to that word wet is sharpened. So they're sharpening their tongue like a sword, man. Putting these damn rules and laws on the books under different names, man. Knowing that, hey, either you're going to comply to keep your status, or if you don't comply, guess what? You're going to be marked as one of these new terms that they putting on the books. An illegal immigrant, a homeless person. All right? They ain't got to rewrite the Constitution. Okay? They just reword it. Okay? And then either you comply, or guess what? You fall in under the category of one of the words that they just put back in or redid. Okay? So the slaves, they now have illegal immigrants, homelessness. Okay? See, it don't make sense to you now because you don't have the vision. You're not a seer. You're not one of the servants, the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So it says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, right? And it says in Revelation 13 that he spoke as a dragon, all right? Those words are draconian, man, all right? Let's read that. Because right now, it seems like it doesn't affect you. It affects everyone else except for you. You've got everything. You got a nice house. You got your paperwork. You getting ready to fly to go see, you know, uh, your parents for 4th of July. So you already got your real ID comply. You see, you thinking that this is just gonna be how it's no. There's something that's coming that's going to shake up this whole place, man. See, that's what you damn Jakes don't understand because why? Y'all still sleep, man. So what we was gonna go at? Got besides myself there. All right. Oh, call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Revelation 13 and 11. It reads, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. Right. So this is going into his democracy. You see, they speak to you like a lamb. You know, they say, oh, we coming in, betterment for the people. That's the lie that they feed you, okay? Or the misconception that they feed you is that what? This is all good for the betterment of the people. Security, verification, everything is gonna work out. We got people trying to come across the board, trying to take jobs from hard-working Americans. Man, they're gonna replace all them jobs with AI anyways, man. You see, but you don't see that. All right. Because why? You given the freedom that you got. You can still move without any type of resistance. Okay. But when it comes, it's going to be too late, man. All right. When they shake up this place, man, and they get ready to do so, it's going to be too late for you to figure out shit then. All right. Now is the time to figure it out so you can get yourselves together. So it says, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, right? And when you go into that word dragon, it's dracon, man. And a lot of these measurements that they getting ready to go use is going to be draconian measurements, all right? Real harsh measurements. And unless you have that chip, you can't buy or sell. If you don't have that chip, we don't know who you are. Oh, man, I went to school with you, man. Hey, man, I don't know who you is. Oh, come on, man. That's why they're going to be that's why they're going to be dispatching a lot of martial law troops, UN troops from other countries that don't have no, dog in the fight, man. They don't know you from scratch, man. Okay, and they already over here, quiet as kept, man. All right, you got your Moabs, which is China. You got your Hamites, which is them Africans. They all came through the borders. Okay. So they already over here just waiting to get their directives, man. All right, get their uniforms and go out when they get dispatched. And hey, you're going to be surprised what some of these new slave catchers look like now. All right, because we knew what they looked like back then. They looked like so-called white men. All right, and they said they even had some Jakes that was out there slave catching. All right, but these new slave catchers, they ain't going to look like the typical so-called white man. They're going to look like Ammon, Moab, Ham, they're gonna look like all type of walks of life, man. All right, so you ain't gonna know who, and they may even use, dare I say, they may even have uniforms that don't look like the typical uniforms, that look like something that you would go to the grocery store in. All right, if you get my drift. All right, UC, 2 letters, figured out what it means. Okay. So it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right. So unless you have the eyesight, you don't see these things, man. All right. Let's go to there. See if I can... This is Revelation 3:18. It says, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thy eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. So if you don't have the eyesight to see, guess what? You just thinking everything is going all huckleberry, fine and dandy. It don't affect me. I don't care. I can still go out to the game and still go grocery shopping and still get on the airplanes. I got my real ID. I got my passport. You see, but you don't see what's coming down the pike, man. All right. You don't see the laws that's being put on the books to when they come with the draconian measurements, when they enforce and make this chip mandatory and you try to buck up against it, then it's going to be too late. Because why? The time that you had to seek him, you didn't seek him. All right. It's going to be too late. Isaiah Isaiah 55:6, seek Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. You see? So this is why when all hell breaks loose, you ain't gonna have a clue on what the hell is going on, all right? Because the time that you have right now to get ready, you ain't. All right, you just out here freestyling, man. Out here having a good time. The signs, all the signs are here, but you don't see them because they ain't directly affecting you. All right, and that's Jake's problem because it don't directly affect them. They don't give a shit, man. I can still drive my car. I can still get on the airplane. I can still go inside federal buildings. I can still buy food. You see, it don't affect you, so you don't care. But when the shit hit the fan and it do affect you, it's gonna be too late. All right, it's gonna be too late. You're gonna be out here scrambling like Roger Staubach, man. All right, trying to find someone to throw to, and you ain't gonna have nobody to get you out, man. All right, you ain't gonna have nobody to lead or nobody to have you to give you. It's just gonna be very uncomfortable for you. Let's just leave it at that. All right. This is Isaiah 65:12. It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Right. So you still want to be a damn 2/3 Jake, man. You don't want to take heed to the calling that he's putting out through his servants, the prophets, to tell you to repent and to make a man for your evil ways. So when he brings forth judgment, hey, it's going to be too late, man. All right, you're going to get whatever it is that you get, okay? And rightfully so, because you had the time to repent right now. But you still want to go participate in all this folliness of the world. You still want to, eat all type of abominable foods, go to seafood broils, cookouts. You still want to try to get your neighbor's wife because he ain't home. When he goes to work, that you don't schedule your day off. You and his wife been kicking it behind his back, and you waiting on the time that he's going to go off on a business trip and be gone for 3 days, and you can slide into his house and do her on his bed. Hey, you got wicked Jakes out there, man. All right? And, hey, they don't want to repent, man. They've been doing this for years now. Here it is, her husband go off on vacation every year at the same time, and you've been doing this for the last 5-6 years. And here it is, he raising a child that ain't even his, man. All right? You see? But this is the wickedness and the folliness of our people, man. And it's glorified and rewarded in our music, all right? You got rappers like Future talking about, I just F your baby mama with some Gucci flip flops. You see? They reward that type of behavior here, man. So that's why this place got to go, man. Babylon the Great, aka the United Snakes of America, must be destroyed, man. All right? And the Most High is using them to bring down their own kingdom, okay? They got to bring forth this mark, all right? Revelation 13 and 16, all right? This is where we're going at. And they putting everything on the books so that when you resist it, they're going to be justified in the eyes of the public to come down on you. Because why? You're stopping progress. You're out there sleeping in public parks. You're out there sleeping in areas that hasn't been deemed by the local government. You out there using and abusing people who actually adhere to and took the chip and complied with Real ID, with the mark of the beast, and now you're pretty much, causing havoc, man, just by showing up in this civilized, smart city, looking for some food, okay? Because you thought you was gonna be able to ride the wave out. You thought you was going to have enough food to prep you over for a couple of weeks or a month until it flew over. But you seen, here it is, month number 2, month number 3, and it's only getting worse. And now you want to walk your half-eaten pant legs up, toes coming out the shoes into one of these smart cities without no damn ID, man. Looking like one of the characters off of Beverly Hillbillies. Jed Clampett, straw hat on, suspenders, one of them broken. You done been in the woods for about 5 or 6 months. Now you done ran out of rations. Now you coming back into one of these smart cities. No ID. Hey, they already knew you. They already knew where you was at all along. All right, cause why? They done had the robo dogs, the drones, and everything else. But here it is. Came into the smart city now trying to find some food. And now somebody done seen how you look and you out of place, and they done call one of the slave catchers, aka Florida a trooper, aka a patroller, aka a concerned citizen. All right. And now you done got round up. You ain't got no ID. You about to get brought in front of a magistrate, a judge. He about to sentence you. He about to give you one last chance. You about to fold under pressure and take the chip and be reintroduced into society and be destroyed at a later time. You see? Why? Because you did not answer when Yahweh called, okay? You thought you was going to be able to do it on your own, man. See, you didn't even believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You got Jakes out there. Oh, JC, the New Testament, F it. That's all fake. That's all idol worship. Well, y'all going to be the same ones out there that's going to be on y'all own for a little bit. And then you're going to cave in. You're going to come in. See, the Most High, man, the Most High, as it tells us in Hebrews 10 and 31, the fear of Yahweh, let's read it. Hebrews 10 and 31, man. Because see, you Jakes have come to realize, to find out you ain't going to save yourself from a damn thing, man. You're going to need Yahweh Shai to act on your behalf, okay? You're going to see. We're going to see who you're going to call. We're going to see what you're going to call on in those days. Yahweh, man, come on, man. Yahweh going to be, the Heavenly Father ain't even going to hear you, man. You ain't coming through the sun. He ain't even hearing you, man. See, it's all good right now because you can go to your store and get some food and something like. But when all hell breaks loose, we're going to see what you're going to do in that day. We're going to see how you're going to get a hold to the Father then. And the Most High knows your heart. He knows whether or not you faking right now. And you're going to be down on your knees calling Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. But he ain't going to answer you, man, because he know you ain't coming in truth and sincerity. Here it is. You done made a video talking about you don't need Yahweh Shah, the New Testament. All of that's idolatry. All right. You can talk a good talk right now because you can still, somewhat get your belly full. But when your belly touching the back of your damn back, we're going to see what's the deal then. So this is Hebrews 10 and 31. It says, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Right. We gonna see exactly how you gonna deliver yourself in this sinful flesh. All right. We gonna see who you gonna call on and how you gonna get fed in that day. All right. Here it is. You sinning, you going off things that you can't do and you can't keep in this flesh, that you have to be made perfect. But yet you gonna think somehow you gonna be exempt from going through Jacob's trouble without having the proper names to call on? Come on, man. All right. And that's going to be an eye-opener and a rude awakening for a lot of our people, man. All right. Some it may be too late, and some, the Most High may have mercy on. All right. We don't know. All right. We just trying to make sure we take care of ourselves, man. All right. And cover our asses. Okay. So I think that's going to be it for Right Under Your Nose. And we're going to finish up and close out with 1 Peter 5:8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Right? So that word devil goes into deceiver and false accuser, man. He's going to do shit right up underneath your nose, and you ain't going to know it till it's too late. And then he's going to devour you like that lion, man. Okay? Here it is. You're going to go to the TSA one day, and you're going to pull out your passport, and they're going to be like, no, we don't do that no more, brother, sister. Y'all got to have that digital device now. What? Since when? Oh, you ain't been watching? Hey, man, I know you got social media. Somebody should have posted it on your social media account. See? And you're going to be like, damn, so how I'm going to travel? Well, we got a chipping station right there in office building 1AC. You go in there, you get chipped, you go on about your business. And here it is, you got to make that decision. Do I go see my, dying family relative one last time? Or do I refuse to take this chip, man? You see, you don't know what type of circumstance you're going to be put in that day, all right? And you're going to say, damn, man, all right, let me go to office building 1ABC or whatever I said and get that chip, man. I got to go see my my last surviving relative before they perish, man. And you take that chip so you can get on that flight and go see them. Hey, next thing you know, you don't even make it to the damn destination. A damn jet, another jetliner, take you out. Okay? So that's why it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.